Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to tell you why you should stop doing accents as a dungeon master. Okay, so I just saw, I think it was Dungeon Musings. It was one of these D&D commentators. There's a British D&D commentator. He's very good. I think he's a brilliant guy. I really like his channel. I listen to him a lot. He did a half an hour just this last week on how to do good accents, right? And I couldn't believe he did, this whole video about how to do accents and why you should do accents and, why it's so important for dungeon masters to do accents. And he didn't touch on the number one reason you should stop doing accents as a dungeon master. Okay. Now, first of all, my channel isn't really for casuals, right? If you play some nonsense game and you don't want your game to improve and you want to be coddled by a bunch of D&D commentators who are like, do whatever's fun for you and your group, whatever you like is fine, right? I'm not that person, right? I'm for emergence, people who are realizing that Dungeons and Dragons is incredibly important life element of Americana, culture catalyst, the first eye sport, right? D&D is more than a game. And if you are serious about this game and you want to make your game better and you want to make yourself better through the game, right, through Dungeons and Dragons, that's what I'm here for, right? And so first of all, if you're casual and you're playing with a bunch of scrub players and you really want to just do whatever the heck you want to do, you're not going to stick around on this channel, right? Because you're just not, right? So here's the thing. I'm talking to emergence and I'm talking to stalwarts. If you care about your game and you're trying to get better as a dungeon master, you need to stop doing accents. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. So you can engage your players by doing accents, okay? You really can. There's no two ways about this, right? And the reality is you can make your game more exciting and more engaging by doing accents. There's just no way around, there's no way for me to pretend that that's not true. It's true, right? But what is the risk? Here is the risk. Okay, you, by doing accents, have a distinct possibility of introducing massive racism into your game. Okay, I can't believe this, this British D&D commentator did a half an hour talking about accents and didn't say, hey, maybe you're about to offend somebody at your table, or nobody at your table is offended, but they just don't know any better because your Jamaican accent is, and you're not Jamaican, is incredibly racist, right? And so here's the thing. You don't want to offend anybody at your table, but the reality is you have a high probability of offending somebody at your table if you continually do accents, right? You could do Irish accents and Scottish accents and Jamaican accents and all these different accents, right? Now, I actually noticed that the person that, this British commentator really did go out of his way to not say a nationality. And so what he did, he was like, oh, you could do a little old lady accent. Hey, guess what? There's little old ladies who could be offended by that, right? Here's the thing. It is high probability that if you're doing an accent, you're going to offend somebody at some point, okay? And the reason why is you're making a caricature of a culture, right? Now, I hear you're like, wait, Matthew Mercer does accents all the time. How's he getting away with it? Hollywood gets away with this nonsense all the time, right? But if you notice, people are starting to come up and say, hey, Hollywood, why is this role whitewashed? Hollywood, why is this a caricature? Okay? Star Wars writers, Star Wars directors, why is this alien race speaking with a national, inflection, right? Hollywood is starting to get called out for this, right? And the issue is if you continue to do accents, the odds that you're not going to hit a wall and offend somebody very badly at your table, or everybody at your table embraces it and then 5 years later goes, oh my gosh, that was really bad. We were incredibly culturally insensitive, right? And the thing is, by doing these accents, you are guaranteed to hit the racism wall. There's no two ways about it. You're going to get to a point where you offend someone at your table, right? Or, right, you go on your Dungeons & Dragons journey, okay? And you've been playing with your friends for XYZ. And then you get an invite to play on a streamed game, okay? You get an invite, or you're like, hey, I want to stream my own game, right? or if you just play even at a game shop, or if you play anywhere, or if you go to a convention and you play, you can get to the point where you are so comfortable with these almost certainly racist accents that you are comfortable with them and you don't think any better, and you end up in a public space using accents you've done with your group for a long time, right? And nobody was offended, but now you're in a public space and bam, you hit that racism wall and you realize, oh my gosh, these were always racist, right? And so the thing is, if you're assuming that your players are going to tell you this is outrageously racist, they might not, right? But the reality is, the more accents you do in front of more people, you are going to hit a point, in my opinion, where you do offend someone, right? And the only reason I'm telling you right now, again, for casuals, if you're like, I'm in my game and I'm just going to play with my players and I'm never going to play in a public space and I'm never, I'm not really going to grow, or nobody's going to want me to play in a public space. First of all, I highly doubt you're listening to this channel, and if you are, it's a one-off, right? But the reality is, if you're an emergent or a stalwart, you're going to play in a public game at some point, right? And so you really need to be aware of this. There is a high probability that your caricature accents, because you're an amateur and don't have the time to do this professionally, and frankly, in my opinion, much of what Matthew Mercer does is caricatures, right? The only reason he gets away with it is Hollywood gets a pass on this right now, and that pass is quickly being revoked, even as we speak, right? So the reality is, I don't know why I have to be the person who says this on the internet, but if you're a Dungeon Master, stop doing accents. Stop, right? It is a bad idea, right? And the reality is, I'm saying this because, we have an issue right now where not all of us are 100% aware of what we need to do and say for each culture, right? And so the reality is, I hate to be the party pooper, but I really think accents are incredibly dangerous. Incredibly dangerous. And it is very privileged and very assumptive that you think your accents are not going to offend somebody at some point. They almost certainly will, right? And even if you're getting away with it now at your table, the odds that you're going to keep getting away with it are low, okay? That's my opinion. What do you think? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think there's a way to do caricatures over sessions, campaigns, different groups, and never offend somebody, right? And that you're always going to get that pass card? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I don't think so. And that's why I don't do accents in my game. I think it's incredibly dangerous. And the risk of offending a particular culture to add this one aspect of your game, it seems like high risk, low reward, right? So really think twice about this. All that's my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if I think I'm right. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Thank you very much for letting me share my thoughts with this. And and if there's some part of this that I'm not getting, please explain it to me, right? But it seems super clear to me, right? Thank you very much. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.